welcome back. If this is your first time, my name is Casey, and if you hear a baby kicking around and talking, that's my daughter Abigail. She's 5 months old, and today's video is going to be some postpartum tips. Now, I don't have very many if you've had a C-section because I delivered vaginally, but I mean, some of this stuff I'm sure you could also use. So let's get started. So I like to keep all of my stuff all in one place, and I kept it in the bathroom, and I wish I had thought of doing something like this when I needed everything, because this would have been so much easier to transport and to know where everything was and keep everything all confined in one space. These are from Walmart. I think they're like $5, and it's really cute. It's got little handles, and I really wish I had used this when I was using everything. Don't put them in the washing machine because you'll ruin them, as I found out because I spilled something in it. So I have to buy another one because I did ruin this one. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is something that they give you when you are at the hospital. They're these amazing, it's an ice pack, and you just snap it and then you shake it and it cools itself, and it only lasts for about 30 minutes. It doesn't last for very long, but it is amazing and it helps so much, especially if you get really sore, and which you will, because if you give birth there. They are single use, so you can't reuse them. That's the one thing I didn't like about it, because it is very wasteful, but it really does help. And I had a 2nd-degree tear, so I was in a decent amount of discomfort for a long time. I still have a little bit of discomfort, and I'm 5 months past, so fortunately you do have that to look forward to. Another thing is the mesh underwear that the hospital gives you. These are just like, they look like little boy shorts, and they are incredibly stretchy. Like, this will probably fit anybody from a size 2X small, or however you say that, to a 2XL that was on the package. And they are so comfortable because of how stretchy they are. They're light and they breathe. They're not tight. So that is something that I really liked about them, and I took as many as I could find. Pretty sure the nurses caught on to me because I kept asking for them. Another thing is, for the first few days, to get a pack of like Depends, so you can just throw it away. These are also disposable. You can only use them once if you try. I tried to wash one of them because they are made of a fabric, and I ended up with a lot of string in my dryer, so I don't recommend trying to wash and you just gotta throw them away. But another thing with the Depends that I really like is because you could just throw it away, because there's a lot of fluids and a lot of stuff that comes out. Even if you have a C-section, it's still going, it's got to go somewhere. And so this will catch everything when you fill up, or you change every time you use the bathroom, which is what I did. You just toss them, and they are very discreet now. My mom was telling me back when she had me, stuff like this, like pads, everything was just not discreet at all. But I was wearing leggings with these, and you couldn't even tell I was wearing a diaper. You'll want to get nursing pads. Even if you're not nursing and you're using formula, you may leak a little bit, and this will help keep from ruining your bras. However, I discovered they do not they do not stick onto traditional bras. They seem to only really stick very well on like nursing bras, because I did notice that nursing bras don't have that silky lining on the inside. They have more of a cottony type lining, at least on the ones that I have. And I got all of mine at Target, and they're pretty cheap. I think my husband said they were like $13. He and my mom had to go buy me bras while I was in the hospital having her. If you want more information on that story, I've got 3 videos. It's a 3-part video on her birth story. It's interesting. But they do make reusable ones. I do have some of those. I didn't like them as much because they moved and shifted around because I was up and moving around way too much, which I do not recommend. Even if you have people come to visit from out of town like we did, they understand you're sore and you don't want to move around. So don't do what I did. Don't go all over the city, and we went furniture shopping. I mean, it was a lot right after having a baby. Another thing is your doctor will most likely recommend you take a sitz bath with some Epsom salt. So I've got several different kinds of Epsom salt that I have in my home, but this is what I used the one time I took a sitz bath because I was scared. There's nothing to be scared of. As long as you don't put soap in the water, it will not burn. It'll actually feel amazing. I wish I had listened to my doctor and took them, like she said, twice a day, because I feel like I wouldn't have had so many issues recovering if I had listened. They're doctors. They know what they're talking about, so definitely listen to them. But yeah, even if you didn't tear really bad or anything, that 20 minutes to an hour of time to yourself is very necessary and to keep you from going crazy. Babies take up a lot of your time. For my showers and when I was cleared to like sit in a bath with soap, I got some of the Savino Stress Relief lavender scented body wash. It has lavender, ylang ylang, and chamomile in it. It smells really good, and they actually have a baby scent one too, so you and your baby can match smells. Yeah. I also have a lavender bubble bath that I use now. I really like the smell of lavender. It is very calming, especially for me. I get stressed out very easily, so I try and take a bath at least once a week just to get my own alone time in. Another thing that you're going to want are some flushable wipes, because everything's going to be very sensitive down there. You're really not going to want to wipe because it's going to be very sore and tender. I also recommend getting some really soft, like the Charmin Ultra Soft toilet paper, because again, everything's really tender and sensitive down there, and it'll help quite a bit. But I really liked having the flushable wipes because they were even softer than that toilet paper, and they can be flushed, and these can even be used with the septic system. So there's really no reason not to get them, and I was always under the impression they were crazy expensive, but as an adult you don't really use as many as you would for a baby, so they last a good amount of time. Another thing is something that my mom actually got me. The doctor, when I left the hospital, didn't give me much information on everything to use. She just said take a sitz bath twice a day. That was pretty much all she told me. So my mom, having done this 3 times herself, went out and got me some Dermoplast pain relieving spray, hospital strength. It relieves the burning, the itching, the tenderness, and I mean, this is how I was able to go to an orchard and furniture shopping and out to lunch every single day, the day after I left the hospital, because my mom brought me this, and it really is amazing. It's also good for like any other injury that you may have. When I was younger, I think I was probably 5 or 6, I had a rabbit that I put on a leash and had a harness, and I can't remember if it was a he or she, dragged me, it was a big rabbit to a little kid, into this plant that had a whole bunch of spiky poisonous caterpillars on it. I don't think they were poisonous because I never really had much of a reaction, but it hurt. I didn't die, but it hurt. And I also have a scar from it on my knee, and my mom sprayed this on it, and it helped. It really did help. Another thing is you may get constipated after you have a baby. Honestly, going number 2 really sucks for a long time afterwards. And if you don't want to use stool softener, or you can't use stool softener, I recommend these. I mean, you've got to insert them up in there. These are glycerin suppositories, but they do really help. Because it's going to hurt the first time you do go. It is going to hurt like no other. It's going to feel worse than giving birth. Another thing are these Tux medicated cooling pads. These were amazing. I would line my entire pad that I had on my or the pens with it. I mean, it's typically for hemorrhoids, but I put it in the refrigerator and just put it in, and just wore them and changed them every like hour. And it did really help. It cools everything, so it does take away a lot of the soreness and the pain. Another thing you could do if you don't want to buy this, because these are kind of expensive, I think it's like $14 or $15 for 100 of them, and you will go through them pretty quickly, because you don't want to use just one per spot, because if you did that, then it would you'd go through them twice as fast. You just take like a little stack and put it in there, and it lasts a lot longer. You can make something like this. You would take like a pad, and don't use Always. My doctor told me never to use Always pads, or the brand Always, for any feminine stuff, because they actually put formaldehyde on their products, which can cause irritations, allergic reactions. It can actually slow your healing down quite a bit. So use your favorite pad, but don't use Always pads. But you'll want to use a soft pad, so find something soft that isn't from the brand Always. And you can actually put witch hazel and aloe on them and pop them in the refrigerator or the freezer and let them get nice and cool. If you do the freezer, I wouldn't do it for too long because you don't want to burn yourself, but just long enough to get it cool enough so when you put it on, it's still soothing. The last thing I recommend getting is a really good, ring hitting it, one of these things, I forget what they're called, travel mugs that will keep your hot drinks or your cold drinks the temperature they need to be for a long time, because I hate to break it to you, but you're not going to get to finish a cup of coffee for a long time while it's hot without having to reheat it. And having something like this is just 20 ounces, so it doesn't take a whole lot of coffee in there. I can down one pretty quickly, but it does really help in keeping everything warm. So if you drink tea or coffee or hot chocolate, cider, having one of these will help a lot, because it's very kind of disheartening to have to go and reheat your coffee for the 10th time within like an hour or two, because they do take up so much of your time. You usually don't get to just sit down and enjoy a cup like you used to be able to, so this really did help. And I highly recommend getting more than one, so you don't have to like hand wash it every single day. And it's fun. You can get little stickers to personalize them. Like I have this one that has my husband's badge number on it. I made a matching one for my mother-in-law. I have a huge 32-ounce one that has a sticker from my old church that I used to go to back in Texas on it, and it has a sticker from my favorite bracelet company. So definitely personalize it, because it does make everything fun, and really anything that you can personalize will help you feel a little bit better. It'll make everything more yours. And that's why I really wish I had one of these things to keep everything in, because it does make everything a little brighter and happier. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If I missed anything, or if you have any suggestions for anyone else, go ahead and comment those down below. I love to hear what you guys have to say, and follow us on Instagram. I'll have a link in the description, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!